Wow, what a great video. Anyway, it's time to get to that draft analysis a week later, right? It's been a week, right? 3 weeks? Shit! So, been a little bit, huh? Well, welcome back everybody. It's me, Fran B1234, coach of your Washington Wynauties. If you have not noticed, I rebranded. A little bit. I took out the AL from my name. Wow, what a drastic change. Anyway, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, been 3 weeks since I uploaded, huh? Well, but a great promise for coming from me. Um, I don't know, I just didn't really feel like uploading, to be honest, and I don't think, like, I'm gonna put out good content for y'all if I don't really feel like making the content, so... Oh my god, we're finally here! Here to bring you your BBL draft analysis. BBL Season 7, Type Null Division. Yeah, that's the lowest division, but like, I'm not a great player anyway, so gotta take what you gotta take bleh, gotta take what you got, I do these all improv. There's no takes, there's no editing, so I don't give a fuck. Everything is staying in the video. Anyway, um, if you have noticed that the slides are slightly higher quality, well, not slightly, majorly higher quality, that's because I didn't make them. Of course I didn't. Huge shout outs to my brother, Cherry Man Cake. I will leave his channel in the description. Great guy, honestly. Go check out his content. It's great. Anyway, damn, it's I haven't done this in a while, haven't I? Anyway, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Um, so here's a bit of context before we get into the actual mods. What I wanted to get initially was, the best mod in the format, Eveltal. If not, I might get like a Ho-Oh or the mod that we actually ended up getting, and draft order comes around and I get 6th pick. So, I get it's a pretty decent draft spot. I can get like top 6 mons in the format, which is a lot of mons in the format since I don't know. um, 6 is a pretty mess spot. It's not very close to the wheel, but at least I get a pretty decent first pick, right? Well, and regardless, I thought it was pretty good. I might get to get a pretty decent team out of it, but the team that we actually ended up getting, I should not have gotten. It's not broken by any chance, like, well, for Uber standards, at least. It's not broken, but without further ado, let's get to the first Pokemon. So like I said before, I ended up getting, like I said before, I got 6th pick, so Yveltal went round first pick, then Mega Mewtwo X, and then some other shit, like, I don't remember, like Lunala, and the mon I wanted most ended up getting to get to me. The little marsh boy, the little shadow man, we ended up getting, uh, Marshadow. Great Pokemon. Honestly, I don't know how I got this on the 6th pick. This is a top 3 Pokemon in the format. 125 speed, 125 attack. Tell me. What switches in to close combat plus Spectral Thief or Poltergeist? Tell me, what's the best switching in the game? There isn't any. 125 attack, close combat, and Poltergeist, nothing is switching into that shit. Nothing. I don't think any type combo resists it. Maybe it does, I'm probably wrong. I'm not gonna bother to do the research. But 125 speed for an Ubermon is absolutely phenomenal. Technician priority Shadow Sneak is all like coming from 125 attack. It doesn't really seem like a 60 base power move thanks to Technician. It's usually 40 base power, but if if you don't if somehow you don't know what Technician does, it boosts the power of any moves below 60 base power and gives them a 50% boost. So for example, here, Shadow Sneak from Marshadow would usually be 40 base power, but thanks to it having Technician, 40 times 1.5 is 60, so Shadow Sneak ends up being 60 base power, plus 125 base attack stat, and stab. It's essentially a 90 base power priority move, coming from a 125 attacks that. And for what it is, it's absolutely phenomenal. Marshadow, great cleaner, great wall breaker. It's honestly not even that frail. Like, its lowest defense stat is 80, so it doesn't like switching into knockoff, but you know, like what does want to switch into knockoff that isn't a resist? And this thing isn't meant to take hits anyway. This is meant to get in safely through whatever pivot you bring it in on, and just go absolutely nuts. And personally, I just wanted to click buttons because Lord knows I'm not good at the game. So if I can just click buttons, that's good enough for me, honestly. So, the one thing I wanted to help out with Marshadow was getting rid of bulky fairies like, the Clefables, the Florges, or some shits, like the really physically bulky fairies. And I also wanted a pivot. So, what else is better than Corviknight? 16 points, flying steel type with and is incredibly bulky. And the fact that it's slow actually ends up working out for me because a slow pivot being able to bring in Marshadow is absolutely phenomenal, especially on the fucking electric types that it baits in. Some of them, like this thing baits in fire and electric types, which I don't take advantage of with Marshadow. But if one of those fire or electric types comes in and I U-turn into Marshadow, I can, just getting in Marshadow safely in general is a death sentence for the opponent, which is really why I wanted Corviknight. And also something to switch into the fairy type so I can pivot in, then pivot out, pivot in, pivot out. With the rest of the team that I have, that's absolutely phenomenal. Also, reliable defog is always great. Hazard stack, still hazard stack doesn't beat me, so I can run Life Orb on Marshadow freely, not having to deal with Life Orb recoil along with the rock spike, so I can really Corviknight just boosts the longevity of whatever team it is on. And personally, with Marshadow, it's absolutely phenomenal as like a bait for, well, not bait, but like it beats what Marshadow can't, and Marshadow beats a lot of things. So if Corviknight can get rid of the one thing stopping Marshadow from cleaning up the game, the faster and the better the batch is gonna go. So I'm definitely really excited to use the combination of Marshadow plus Corviknight. So on the way back from getting Corviknight, I want to get a special attacking dragon type, something like a Latios or something, to like really take advantage of the fire and electric types that Corviknight can bait in. And I didn't really want Latios because that stacked the ghost and that stacked the ghost weakness with Marshadow, and yeah, I have a really good ghost type. So the less ghost types, like I'm really weak to ghost if I grab Latios. So I decide to not get that and get my dark type early on and get Hail Hydra itself, Hydreigon. Really bulky for an offensive mod, not bulkier than Marshadow though. At least I don't think. I don't think so. 98 base speed, pretty good, 105 attack. But the main thing about this Pokemon is the 125 special attack stat with which with Marshadow, while they both struggle with fairies, I have Corviknight for a reason. Um, it can bait in the fairies, and if Mar and it can put him in range of Marshadow or Hydreigon because Hydreigon gets Flash Cannon and fairies don't resist Ghost, so Marshadow can just muscle past them. 98 base speed isn't as good as 110 with which would have been the case with Latios, but I really wanted to get my Dark type early on. Hydreigon also has U-turn, which, well, Latios gets Baton Pass. I think U-turn is just a much safer move because punishes it punishes going into a fairy with damage. Which, if I can, the more I can chip the fairies for Marshadow to just demolish late game, the better. Something else about Hydreigon that I really like on this team is that it beats the fire and electric types that well, it doesn't beat them, but it switches in to the electric and fire types that Corviknight baits in. So like even a Corviknight bulk up Corviknight late game looks pretty clean if Hydreigon can break early on. Same with Marshadow. And keep in mind that this shit got Dragon Dance when in Gen 8. So that 105 attack stat isn't put to waste either, so this is a really versatile Pokemon. It gets a ton of coverage, Fire Blast, Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse. Dark is just a really spammable type alongside Flamethrower or Flash Cannon for the fairies. Draco Meteor from this thing is death, just death. It's just a really solid mod that I just really wanted to get. So very clearly what I struggle with right now is fairies. I have Corviknight, yeah, but Corviknight is also going to be used for a lot of things. You know, like Corviknight is going to come in, pivot out, come in, pivot out. So, and it's also like my kind of only defogger. Like, yeah, Hydreigon can run a bulky defog set, but I have a Corviknight. Why would I? Like, unless it's a really bad matchup for Corviknight, I think I should be able to not run bulky Hydreigon, but it definitely could come in handy. But so far, what I struggle with is switching into fairies, and I want more pivots because I have two very good wall breakers and cleaners that love coming in safely from pivots, Hydreigon and Marshadow. So, if, so a something that resists fairies, something that gets momentum, Rotom Heat. This is just like a comfort pick. This is really, really just a comfort pick. Honestly, I love Rotom Heat. Legitimately, one of my favorite mons to just come in, pivot out with Volt Switch, delete the steel types with Overheat, which, yeah, that's a risk, I guess, but like, if if my opponent just pivots out into like a water type and I'm fast, if I'm faster, I just Volt Switch out, so why the fuck wouldn't I just switch out, you know? It's it's a really, really good pivot, which this is what the team is basically based around. Pivots so I can get in Hydreigon and Marshadow safely. Whether it be a Scarf, Specs, Choice Band, Marshadow, or like a bulk up Corviknight even. This team also has a lot of setup. Nasty Plot Hydreigon, bulk up Corviknight, bulk up Marshadow, Nasty Plot, Rotom Heat, just very diverse. Very diverse team so far. And it also gives me perfect type synergy with Corviknight, essentially, and also, no Earthquake spam versus my team. I have three ground immunities right now. Hydreigon, Corviknight, and Rotom Heat. So just the defensive synergy with this team is just absolutely phenomenal right now. And also gives me my third defogger of the team. So that's pretty good. Um, and Right now, it's the start of my Fire Water Grass core. I also forgot to mention this with Hydreigon, but I have Corviknight and Hydreigon for my Dragon Fairy Steel core. So I'm starting to pile up on these cores, start these cores so far, and then also at the same time really building the team around Marshadow. So I'm really liking how the team looks so far. But then what you may notice is that I have no hazards. So that's kind of bad, you know? That's kind of bad. So for my next pick, I also wanted to close the speed gap because right now, I go Marshadow 125 to Hydreigon, which is 98. I want to close that even if it's the slightest bit. And I have 3 ground immunities anyway, so I have no issue with getting the one, the only Nihilego. Y'all know how this shit destroyed me in GDL. I want to do that to someone else, okay? I want to do that out of spite. My man, Kashmir, if you're watching this, this is for you. This is for you, my man. uh, this also gives me another option to beat fairies. It gives me a special wall, which I don't have. Uh, gives me a Stealth Rocker, also gives me a T-Spiker, gives me a grounded poison type, and Nihilego just fits perfectly on this team. Only 103 speed, well, bad also. Well, it's not bad, but like it closes the speed gap a little more. Not by much. It's still like a 22 point difference, but I'll close that up eventually. We'll get to that. We'll get to that eventually. Um, Rock is also one of the worst typing in the game, in my opinion. Um, I also, it can come in handy offensively, especially alongside Poison. And sadly, Nihilego doesn't get Earth Power, so I'm completely walled by Steel types. But I have a Marshadow and a Rotom Heat. I think I'm chilling with the Steel types. Like, the Steel types cannot, um, you get it, you get it. I'm really bad at talking, I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, Nihilego, great mod. Great offensive tool, great defensive tool. Its defense sucks, but I have a Corviknight and a Rotom Heat. Gives me a special wall, good defenses, good off. Just overall, great mon, and gives me a pretty good rocker. But not a good enough rocker. Nihilego sometimes likes to run Assault Vest, especially in an Uber meta where the special hits hit really fucking hard. So I wanted like another reliable rocker. And you know what? I want the pivots to come in also. And, I'm looking at it. I also want a bulky water type already, a bulky water type that can pivot, set up rocks, and what mon fills that role better than Swampert? The absolute go. I'm loving this thing in Oasis. Groundwater is one of the best defensive typings in the game. Only weak to grass, great resistances to fire, electric, which covers perfectly with Corviknight. So that's even better. Gets flip turn now, which means I can pivot even more. And if the grasses want to come in, I go for flip turn. I go into either Rotom Heat, Nihilego, Hydreigon, or Corviknight to resist them, and beat them. In the cases of Corviknight, Rotom Heat, and Nihilego. Even Hydreigon can set up on bulky grasses, so it's a win-win situation. And just everything I have pivots into grass types perfectly, so I cover for the grass type weakness absolutely phenomenally right now. And it's just a bulky rocker, bulky water, great pivot, but not a good enough pivot. I wanted really slow pivots, i.e. teleport. And while I didn't get this initially on the team, we had a transaction period for, and we have a transaction period after the draft, which we have 24, or not 24 hours, we have like a couple of days to do some transactions that are effective week one. I noticed this one was still left. It has great synergy with the team, and it's it's another bulky water, but it's one that has reliable recovery, unlike Swampert. We got the one, the only, Slowbro. How the fuck did this not get drafted? This shit didn't get drafted, and I had to pick it up. It's Slowbro. I'm not letting anyone else get it. Only I can use the bro. I've wanted to use this thing for so fucking long. It's so bulky on the physical side, which yeah, I have Corviknight, but this shit gets Regenerator. So why would I not get it? And even Slowbro and Swampert have good synergy even, because of the electric weakness that Slowbro has, and Swampert covers. They are both weak to grass, but like I said with Swampert, I can click teleport on the grass type as they come in, and get in one of Corviknight, Hydreigon, Rotom. You already heard that shit. And the psychic typing, well, yeah, it kind of hurts it. It's also fucking amazing for Future Sight. Stab Future Sight, honestly, like with Marshadow. So like, I go for Future Sight. The poisons that well, I don't have a poison problem right now, but let's see. The fighting types that Hydreigon can't, the Hydreigon really doesn't like. Future Sight fixes that, because fighting types don't want to come in. So I can go for Future Sight, then I can go for Teleport, go into Hydreigon. A fighting type wants to come in, but it can't, so I get a free setup. Or in the case that I'm Choice Specs, I can go for a Stab Draco Meteor from a fucking Hydreigon. Like, no, you're not switching into that shit. Um, Scald is also a great utility move that Swampert doesn't really use as much as it used to now that it gets Flip Turn. And Teleport, Slack Off gets Regenerator, just reliable recovery, which I will admit is a problem that this team has. So the more I can cover for it, the better. Regenerator and Slack Off combined increase the longevity of this thing by so much. It's gonna be my main pivot besides Corviknight, but even with Corviknight, this shit is so good. I love it. I love it. I want to use it so badly. I look forward to using it so badly. It's gonna wall some shit. It's gonna do shit. Anyway, at this point, I don't really have a fairy type. And most of the good fairy types are gone. The Sylveons, the really Sylveon's the only good fairy type, honestly. Like Clefable, I guess, but like that shit gets KO'd by everything. Anyway, I want a fairy type because there are dragons in this format. Ubers, you have your Palkias, your Reshurans, your Dialgas, your Arceus dragons. You have a shit ton of dragon types. So having a fairy is kind of important. Not so much for Dialga, which I mentioned, but that's besides the point. I need a fairy type, and while I don't want to, while switching into the dragons is important, the fairies that are available don't switch into any dragon types. So why try to bulk out the dragon types when you can hit them with a priority Draining Kiss? Yeah, you guessed it. We got Comfey. Its stats look underwhelming at first, but that 110 special defense is gonna help. And 100 speed is good, but this thing gets triage, which gives priority to all healing moves. Calm Mindsets are deadly, like late game, where priority draining kiss is just gonna hit everything. Whether it be like every dragon. Every dragon doesn't switch into no dragon switches into this thing. Ever. So Calm Mind draining kiss sets are gonna be absolutely deadly. This thing also gets aromatherapy, which is good for increasing the longevity of whether it be Rotom, Hydreigon, Swampert, even Slowbro, which, yeah, while it is really bulky, it really hates being toxic. So having aromatherapy is really good for my team. And it also gets U-turn, yet another pivot. I'm really going in with the pivots right now. And it's just a really solid fairy. It was 9 points. It's pretty like mid-low tier. Um, the point value doesn't really matter honestly because like we get 105 points, and that doesn't include the Uber because each Uber is like 0 points. Because I forgot to explain the whole tiering system, but like no one else is gonna watch this shit who isn't in the BBL server, so y'all know the fucking rules. Uh, um. If not, I don't really give a shit, honestly. Just look at the fucking team. It's really fucking good, okay? This thing also gets Giga Drain, because, you know, coverage. Coverage is always good. It can't hit steel types really, but that's why you have U-Turn, which, like I said, I have Slowbro, I have Swampert, I have Rotom Heat, I have Marshadow. Steel types don't do shit. And honestly, just Comfey is a good mon. Very good mon for being 9 points. Priority, just you already heard it. I fucking love it. He's cute. Anyway, for our second to last one, I look at the team, and early on in the draft, I knew I wanted Spikes with Marshadow. Spikes with Marshadow, Hydreigon, Nihilego, just all of these amazing cleaners. Of course I want Spikes. I have Toxic Spikes, which is also really, really good, but I don't have regular Spikes, which are pretty important. And I look at the Spikers left, and you know, there's only Quillfish. I already have 2 water types. That's plenty. Um, and Slowbro, like Slowbro and Swampert are good enough water types. So Quillfish, I don't really want that shit. And also the other Spikers left are like Roselia, and I wanted more reliable spikes. And I also noticed I don't have a bulky grass, and I kind of lose to Zygarde, like Zygarde complete. Like I really, really need backup measures for like Zygarde complete, because even Comfey doesn't do shit to the complete form. And if it subs, I cannot deal with it. So I want a physically bulky grass that has spikes. And I still have plenty of points left. So like, and this mon is pretty neglected. Not my favorite, but it is pretty neglected, and I thought it was pretty good for where it was. We got the one and only Chestnut. It's not a pivot, but look at my team. Corviknight, Hydreigon, Rotom Heat, Swampert, Slowbro, and Comfey. That's 6 pivots out of 10 mons. I don't think I really need to explain that I already have plenty of pivots. So, I don't really think I need to get more. So I thought Chestnut was a pretty good choice for this. So yeah, Chestnut, good mon. Good mon for this team, gives me pretty reliable spice, bulky grass type. The fact that it doubles up with the fighting type with Marshadow isn't as big a problem because you don't really use Chestnut for the fighting type. You use Chestnut more for the bulky grass type part of it. The sad thing about that is that because it's a part fighting type, it gets more weaknesses, and grass and fighting don't really cover for each other. Which, kind of sad, but, that just means I get more value out of it because it's slightly worse. Like, slightly worse, so I get more value out of it because I get more points left over. Speaking of more points left over, last Mon. At this point I had 4 points left. Well, no, this is the other thing I picked up from Grace. Like how I dropped some things for Slowbro. I also dropped some things for this last Mon. Um, if my speed tiers right now are god awful. With Marshadow, then to Nihilego, and then to Comfey, and then to High Dragon, like, they're a mess. They're an absolute mess right now. So a 115 speed Mon would really help to close that gap. Because then it's Marshadow 115, then Nihilego, which is 103, then Comfey 100. It's better. Not fantastic or anything, but better. And, of course, I wanted this to be a pivot, because Lord knows I don't have enough of those already. But this one isn't really meant to be used as a pivot. It's a strong wall breaker, gets strong priority, also gets technician like Marshadow, the one and only Ambipom. This shit, I love it. Ambi-Go. Ambi-Go. Technician, stab, fake out. Even if it's only from a 100 base attack stat, with a life orb or even like a silk scarf, technician, fake out does so much fucking damage. I've done 50% to bulky Venusaur. Not Mega Venusaur, but Venusaur. With fake out before. This shit is strong. And 115, it's pretty fast. People are gonna have to prep for this shit. And it's only 4 points. I don't know why, but it's only 4 points. So, it also gets knockoff for the ghost types. It gets U-turn, which is, like, it's partially a pivot. Not like I'm gonna use U-turn on it much. And then it also gets stab, tail slap, which is also boosted by technician. So every hit this shit does is gonna hit hard as fuck. Technician, fake out, stab, 60 base power, then, it's like same like Shadow Sneak, but it's fake out. So you make the opponent flinch. It's literally free damage. And it does so much fucking damage. This shit, let me look at a calc. I don't know. I haven't really done any calcs, fuck it. So yeah, this is like good value for 4 points. Honestly, Chinchino is 6 points, and Chinchino isn't even that much better. Honestly. I'm just saying. That's just my hot take. Ambipom is so strong, dude. It's not, I don't think it's better than Chinchino, but Tail Slap from this shit, Technician, it doesn't have Skill Link, so it's not exactly gonna be the most reliable. But just Stab, Technician, Fake Out by itself is good enough for me. This shit's Fake Out are so strong. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, that's been my draft analysis today. I hope y'all enjoyed. Hope that, like, I'm back to uploading again. Oasis, I don't even know if I'm gonna finish Oasis. I might just, like, compile all the games into one video and just commentate over them. I haven't really felt like uploading Oasis, and this is gonna be the main league that I'm gonna upload. We're back to live comm, we're back to, not layouts, but if I do layouts, they're gonna have to be, like these slides who are made by someone else much more talented than I am at making layouts. Speaking of the slides, again, huge shoutouts to Cherry Man Cake for making all these slides. Really high quality, go check him out. His link will be in the description, if I remember, which I will. I upload these immediately after recording. And yeah, this has been your BBL Season 7 Type Null Division Washington Wynauties Draft Analysis. That's a mouthful, but You're the ones who are processing it. I'm the one saying it. I should be getting some credit here. Anyway, also shout outs to Olivia Sama for just being the owner of the BBL. Her link will also be in the description. Credits to also Glitch City for the music, as always. That link will be in the description. Join my Discord. That's in the description as well. I'm just plugging right now for everyone else and myself as well. um, but yeah, that's this is the first upload in a while. Fuck yeah. I'll see you guys week one, probably, maybe not next Friday. I don't know. I don't know. I'll just upload these whenever the fuck I want. Honestly, I'm not under any schedule. At least I don't think I am. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.